Joining me is Coin Stories podcast host Natalie Brunell. Natalie, let me ask you this. Is it fear driving this crypto market? And I guess the follow-up question would be, can Bitcoin rally into the new year?
Hi, Ashley. Great to see you. Well, I think this is just a healthy pullback. Bitcoin over the last 3 months is up 60%, up more than 150% in 2023. And I believe that Bitcoin is poised to be the standout asset in 2024. We're going to see large capital flows into Bitcoin with the imminent approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. And I say imminent because we've seen over the last 2 months, regulators and issuers basically clearing their calendars to just focus on Bitcoin meetings. And the SEC is now working with more than a dozen companies to iron out thousands of pages of guidance and disclosure documents on these spot Bitcoin ETFs. So it appears that the wheels of government and Wall Street are focusing on delivering Bitcoin to the masses. And then we also have the halving coming up around April when Bitcoin's issuance drops from 900 coins to about 450 per day. So I'm very bullish on 2024, Ashley.
I can tell. I can hear it in your voice. You know, the spot ETF, is that going to be a landmark moment, do you think, in this sector?
Yes, I agree with what Michael Saylor recently said about the ETF being the biggest development on Wall Street in the last 30 years since the S&P 500 ETF was born. I actually just talked about this on my show this week. State Street debuted the SPY in 1993, and 30 years later, it's the largest, most liquid, and most heavily traded equity security in the world, with an average trading volume of more than $30 billion per day and more than $490 billion of assets under management. And that is just the SPY. There are 16 ETFs that track the S&P 500 today with a combined market value of nearly $1.3 trillion. And I think that's just a modest sampling of what the spot Bitcoin ETF could represent, because for the first time in history, we have an incorruptible, digital, global, rules-based, dominant monetary network with absolute scarcity. And it's not going to be a question of if you have Bitcoin in your portfolio, it will be a question of how much.
I always thought the big attraction of crypto, Natalie, was that you can keep government out of it, regulation out of it. But it seems to me in order for it to expand and grow, you're going to need a little more regulation for it to prosper. Or am I kind of getting that wrong?
I see it as both. I think that it's going to be embraced both by individuals and on a larger scale by companies and governments. Bitcoin's primary function is as a store of value that can't be debased or manipulated, and it lays the foundation for more economic empowerment than any other asset. But it's also a superior technology that will improve every business, every bank, and every government and every family. It will empower the mountain man survivalist who's all about individual sovereignty, and it will also empower the Apples and Amazons to create useful applications that empower billions of customers. And it will empower banks to send money at the speed of light with final settlement on a Saturday. And it will empower cities like New York to fix their treasury so they're not drowning in debt. And it will empower the kid in a developing nation that is starved by hyperinflation. So I think it's going to empower everyone who embraces Bitcoin, and that will be the story of our generation.
I already feel empowered myself, Natalie, just listening to you. I want to run out and buy some crypto. You're very enthusiastic, and I hear what you're saying, and it's absolutely fascinating, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out in 2024. Natalie, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.